beautiful little uptick right here. Notice the support one. So here's where confirmation occurred. Here's where it rolled over sharply. It did pierce this line right here and then bounced. And then if we zoom in, we can see again, it came to first support, pierced that, then recovered and came right here, and it's holding there. Now for me, what did I say was going to happen?
Wait a minute, everyone. We all agree that the crypto market never sleeps, but with countless newsletters out there, how do you choose the best one for you? BitcoinZella stands out with its simplicity and clarity. We've crafted an experience that anyone can dive into, whether you're a crypto expert or just a new to the crypto world. Now guess who keeps his eye on us? The author of best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And we want to take this opportunity and thank all the people who trusted us, and we read every comment. And the best part, it's free. Subscribing now means you will get all new information for free. Don't just follow the trends, stay ahead of them. Subscribe to BitcoinZella today and enjoy the new edge. Let's join Gareth in this video about Bitcoin and more.
Bitcoin catching a small bid here, guys. Beautiful little uptick right here. Notice the support one. So here's where confirmation occurred. Here's where it rolled over sharply. It did pierce this line right here and then bounced. And then if we zoom in, we can see again, it came to first support, pierced that, then recovered and came right here, and it's holding there. Now for me, what did I say was going to happen? I said likely, and I'm always talking in probability. So the likely scenario would be we get some sideways to up action for a few weeks, a few days or a few weeks, and then it should break lower. So far, that looks to be what is happening. Also notice this could be creating what we refer to in the technical analysis industry as a bear flag. Sideways chop right here, and then eventually that bear flag forms. It brings us down. If we zoom out, we have support number 2 right down here at around 56.5. Notice the little arrow pointing to a triple 3 moving averages or 3 trend lines going through, and then it's a flat bottom right there. Now, is this eventually going to 50,000? It's possible, right? I mean, no one knows for sure, but that would be a major. I mean, this will be support number 2 is decent. Support number 1 is decent. At 50,000, there is insane support. I mean, you even have the former spot ETF approval high right over here as well, right at 49,000. So again, we just take it one step at a time. I always say, like, play what the market gives us, or what is the current chart pattern setup. That's the next move. Don't necessarily, I think it's good to think 5-10 steps ahead, but you don't want to necessarily react and say, oh, well, I'm not going to trade until it hits 50, because you may miss 5 good trades until then. And I think that's an important side note. So anyways, that's your update on Bitcoin. Gold is getting a bounce today. We did see the dollar pulling back, so I think that's helping gold. What's happening here on gold is interesting. We broke down from this channel, and now we're getting a reflex bounce to the high end of that channel. That's very similar to what happened with natural gas. If we go to natural gas's chart here, let me bring that up now. We can see that natural gas kind of did that same thing. Here was an upsloping trend line, right? It broke below, didn't confirm, retraced into that line, and then got hammered back down. So it's very possible that that could be what's on the docket for gold here. And so again, retrace into this. Now we'll watch the next couple days. I think the PCE number tomorrow is obviously going to be a big mover for gold based on it, that it's inflation and it's going to affect the dollar. But let's see, do we hit this and roll over and then come down to first support at 22.80? Or do we bounce back into this sideways choppy consolidation, which again still has a slight negative bias, but at some point you also have the head and shoulders you're now looking at right here as a possibility. So I would still maintain a negative bias on this chart. By the way, over 4,000, almost 4,300 watching right now. That's really cool, guys. And a big shout out to you guys for tuning in. I know it's not up to the high def snuff of the studio, but like I said, guys, I'm here for you. That's what Verified Investing's motto is, being here for retail investors and to give you guys insights that really usually the institutions only get.
A dormant Satoshi-era Bitcoin miner moved 50 BTC to Binance after 14 years, sparking speculation amidst ongoing market volatility. A Satoshi-era miner address, dormant for 14 years, recently moved 50 Bitcoin to Binance. This transaction has caught the attention of the broader crypto industry. The miner's activity comes amidst significant market volatility and capitulation, where miners are liquidating holdings due to reduced mining rewards after Bitcoin's halving event. The miner's address, 1PD2LPR, received 50 BTC on July 14, 2010. This era, known as the Satoshi era, marks the early days of Bitcoin when its founder, Satoshi Nakamoto, was active. The transfer aligns with a trend of miner capitulation, where miners sell off Bitcoin to mitigate losses from diminishing rewards and falling BTC prices. Bitcoin continues to face downside pressure, leading to panic selling and significant reductions in miner reserves, as reported by CoinGate Media. This trend exacerbates the market's current challenges. Spot Bitcoin ETF recorded $21.52 million in inflows, marking a second consecutive day of positive net movement, despite recent market struggles.
The dollar started to roll over intraday a little bit because of this Goldilocks data. I also think that the dollar was already trading down. And here, if we go to the daily chart of the US dollar, you can see we were already down going into that economic news because basically the dollar yen is starting to calm down a little bit, at least for one day. If we flip over here, and in fact, I have it on one of my other charts here, here's your dollar yen chart. And you could see how we were just on this very slippery slope to the upside on the dollar yen. We've got above the previous intervention high right here. And today, this is the daily candle, you can see very clearly it's pulling back. And the market likes that because remember, as I've said in my previous game plans, if we don't see a pullback in the dollar yen, Japanese central bank will have to intervene, and that then will cause even more repercussions globally and potentially, can start to unwind some of the economic pressures and fiscal pressures that are out there in terms of debt, country debt, et cetera, et cetera. So in any case, just the fact that you're getting a small pullback in the dollar yen today calms the market down a little bit, maybe even takes a little bit of a bite out of the Micron earnings. And here's Micron, guys. This is the pre-market and after hours yesterday on Micron. We closed Micron at around 142.40. You can see the massive drop. In fact, I was live on trading the close when that hit. We then popped around a little bit, and we've been floating up in the pre-market here a little bit, although pulling back just off of this high. Now, it is down, but it's not down that much, right? If we go to our daily chart, the first thing that this daily chart shows me going into earnings was that this had the deck stacked against it. Now, listen, semiconductor stocks have had this stacked against them per charts many times, and they've still, gone up, let's be honest, right? I mean, NVIDIA is a great case of that. How overbought was that 3 months ago, and it still went way higher. But having said that, we did have a bear flag. Notice the pattern here, guys. Again, I don't have my drawing tools on my pen today, but this is, again, what type of pattern is this? We know this pattern. I go over it every single day. Down move, inside bar, that's a bear flag, right? Then in addition, if we remove those lines just to keep it as simple as possible, we look at this bigger time frame. And I actually went on record about a week ago and said, I think Micron has topped. And the reason I said that is because of this trend line. Look at this trend line and how we tagged it last week. And not only that, but this is a weekly topping tail. Now, remember, topping tails have to be at the highs of charts in recent history. This is the tail, or in this case, the wick, because it's on the top, has to be bigger than 50% of the entire candle. And the close of the candle must be in the lower 25%. There's strict criteria for topping tails and bottoming tails. Because again, once you start, and this is really important, folks, as you start, and this is a big issue with a lot of investors and traders, is they know the definition or they get taught the definition. And then they start to slip down the slope of saying, well, it's close. And then a little bit later, oh, it's close, but it's not as good as when it was the other day close, right? And it's this very slippery slope. And so if you define your criteria and keep them, right, and we'll go back to full screen here, if you keep it as disciplined as possible, what that does is it essentially makes you have the highest odds possible. And being here in Vegas, this is a great way to discuss it, right? Trading is about probabilities. There's no 100% trade. There's nothing like that, right? But what we can do is follow strict rules and criteria that gets us closer to that, let's say 70, 80% success rate. I've never found really anyone higher than 80%. That's kind of Hall of Fame status. I'm close to that, give or take. But again, that is really what you're going for. You want the odds as close as you can get to being the house, the casino, the one that over time wins. You may not win every single bet, right? Gamblers come into a casino and they sometimes win. But if enough gamblers come in, the odds take care of themselves and the casino always wins, as they say. Okay.
Spot Bitcoin ETFs saw $21.52 million in inflows on June 26, marking the second day of positive movement and offering hope to investors amidst Bitcoin's price struggles. Between June 13 and June 24, Bitcoin ETF experienced $1.1 billion in outflows, causing concern among investors about the stability of these financial products. Since their approval in January, Bitcoin spot ETF have accumulated $14.4 billion in inflows. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust, IBIT, leads with $18 billion in cumulative inflows, although it saw no net flows on June 26. Fidelity's FBTC recorded $19 million in inflows, Grayscale's GBTC saw $4 million, and VanEck's HODL had $3 million. ARK Invest and 21 Shares RKT experienced significant outflows of $5 million. Bitcoin, the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization, failed to break the $62,000 mark, peaking at $61,896 before falling to $60,780. The past 7 days saw a 7.22% decline in Bitcoin's value, influenced by concerns over Mt. Gox's creditor repayments starting in July and significant BTC movements by the German government. Reports of Mt. Gox beginning repayments and the German government moving substantial BTC holdings on exchanges have fueled fears of a potential market sell-off, contributing to the ongoing volatility in Bitcoin prices. If you've been with us so far, a big thank you. Don't forget to subscribe for free to Bitcoin Zella for your daily news. The link is waiting below. That's all for today's crypto news. Stick around for more updates, insights, and analysis on cryptocurrencies. Share your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more exciting content.